Take a look at the White House, please, because right there, President Trump is meeting with manufacturers. I believe that this meeting with the manufacturers is really all about the border tax. Manufacturers really like it because it is a help to exporters, and that's what manufacturers do. Scott Hodge is with us. He is the president of the Tax Foundation. This is the bone of contention, isn't it?
Sure is.
The House wants the border tax to get some revenue in to pay for tax cuts for individuals and companies. The Senate says it ain't happening. It's not politically possible. Where does the Tax Foundation stand on this? Well, you for it or against it?
I think you have to look at it very seriously. This is a matter of math. You need $1 trillion in order to lower the corporate tax rate as far as the House wants to do. And
but that's if you make it revenue neutral.
Well,
if you want to cut taxes for myself and corporations, you've got to raise taxes elsewhere if you want it to be revenue neutral. And the way they raise taxes is the border tax.
Well,
right?
This is about broadening the tax base. And right now, imports are not taxed. So this is a way of broadening the tax base in order to raise a sufficient amount of money to lower the tax rate to 20%. If you don't have the border tax, you need a 27 or 28% tax. But there's another important element to this, and that it changes the incentives for companies away from incentivizing them to invert their companies to Ireland or move profits offshore. This changes that and essentially makes the U.S. a very attractive place to locate your factories and IP.
You just suggested the nature of a compromise.
Oh,
if we don't have a border tax, that would mean that we have a tax cut for corporations, but a less of a tax cut than we're thinking of. Instead of going down to 20%, it would be like 27% corporate tax.
But that still means that we have one of the highest corporate tax rates in the world.
Yes, but
so in order to be competitive, you have to have a much lower rate. And obviously, you know, Trump wants a 15% rate, so that's going to require an even bigger lift in order to get there.
But
there's always a but.
You're ignoring politics. To get a tax package through both the House and the Senate, you've got to do something about the border tax. And that compromise that you're talking about here, that's a possibility.
Well, the senators are all squawking about it, but no one's come up with a solution. No one's coming up with an alternative, and it always comes down to budget math. Where are you going to come up with $1 trillion in order to lower that corporate tax rate to make the United States more competitive? And so far, none of the senators have come up with an alternative. They're just squawking right now.
Earlier this morning, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin was on with our own Maria Bartiromo first thing this morning. Roll tape from that soundbite.
I think it takes some time. So I think, quite frankly, for us to have tax reform done by August is a very aggressive position, and we're going to get it done. But we weren't ready to launch tax reform right away, and we were ready to take on the Obamacare issues.
Okay, he said August.
August.
Tax reform done by August. You're with the Tax Foundation. Do you think it's possible?
I do. I think it's very ambitious, but it is possible. And the best thing about it, he put a date out there that makes people focus.
He's put that date all over the place.
Right now, the debate is all over the place. It needed a deadline to get people to come together, air out their differences, and come to a compromise.
That's why the market's up, because he put that marker down. Yes. August, August, August. Okay, I'm not asking you whether it will be done by August, but is it likely?
It's very possible. The House is moving very quickly. It's now just really up to the Senate. And I know that the White House is looking at all these details very quickly, and they're going to come out with their own plan very soon. It's a matter of just getting everybody to come together, find compromise, and get this thing done.
Yeah, just a matter of. Not easy.
No.
Scott, thank you very much indeed for being with us, as usual. Thank you, sir.